Dr. Tejo Park stood in front of the large glass cage, watching Subject K9 with careful eyes. The year was 2187, and the galactic hegemony needed stronger weapons for their war against the human resistance. Dr. Park was their answer. "How is our tiger today?" he asked his assistant Mina. "Vital signs are stable. Brain activity is higher than expected," Mina said, typing notes into her tablet. "It seems thoughtful." Dr. Park nodded. The creature inside the cage was massive, nearly twice the size of an Earth tiger. Its orange and black fur shone under the bright lab lights. Strong muscles moved under its skin as it paced. But unlike normal tigers, this one had been changed. Its DNA was mixed with human genes. Its brain was bigger. Its eyes showed something close to understanding. "Subject K9 is our best work yet," Dr. Park said. "The other subjects were strong but too wild. This one has the perfect mix of power and control." The lab sat on the remote planet Seokju, far from prying eyes. Here the hegemony gave Dr. Park everything he needed for Project Predator. His job was simple: make the perfect war beast. "The Rage implant is ready for final testing," Mina said. "Should we begin?" Dr. Park nodded. War Beast needed to be angry to fight well. The small device at the base of K9's skull would make sure of that. With a press of a button, they could make K9 attack anything in sight. "Start at 20%. Power," Dr. Park ordered. Mina typed a command. Inside the cage, K9 suddenly stopped pacing. Its body went stiff. Then it let out a deep growl that made even Dr. Park step back. The beast's eyes changed from gold to red. It jumped at the glass wall, hitting it with such force that small cracks appeared. "Power down," Dr. Park shouted. The beast dropped to the floor, its body shaking. Slowly its eyes turned back to gold. It looked up at Dr. Park, and for a moment he thought he saw something strange in its eyes. Not anger, not fear. Something else. Something almost human. "Did you see that?" he asked Mina. "See what?" Dr. Park shook his head. "Nothing, just my imagination." Later that night, Dr. Park sat alone in his office looking at K9's brain scans. The patterns were unusual. Most war beasts had simple minds focused on hunting and killing. But K9's brain showed activity in areas that controlled higher thinking, curiosity, memory, even emotion. "This could be a problem," he muttered to himself. Too much thinking could make the beast question orders. But there was no time to start over. The hegemony needed K9 on the front lines as soon as possible. Human forces were winning too many battles. The war beasts would change that. Dr. Park made his decision. Tomorrow, they would complete K9's neural programming. The final step would lock away any independent thought. The beast would become the perfect soldier. Unquestioning, unfeeling, unstoppable. He looked at the live feed from K9's cage. The beast was not sleeping like it should be. Instead, it sat still, staring at the wall. Then it turned its head and looked directly at the camera, directly at Dr. Park. For a long moment, they stared at each other through the screen. Then K9 did something impossible. It nodded, just once, as if it understood what was coming. Dr. Park quickly turned off the eye monitor. His hands were shaking. Just a coincidence, he told himself. Just random movement. But deep down, he knew. Subject K9 was different. And tomorrow, he would make sure that difference was erased forever. What he didn't know was that this beast would soon meet a wounded human soldier named Hyun Do-yun, and that meeting would change everything. Private Hyun Do-yun lay flat in the mud. The rain fell hard on his face, but he did not move. Moving meant pain. His right leg was badly hurt. Blood soaked through his torn uniform pants. His radio was broken. No one knew he was alive. Just hours ago, Do-yun had been with his squad. 10 good soldiers of the human resistance. They were on patrol on the border world of Tebek. Their mission was simple: watch for hegemony forces and report back. No fighting unless needed, but the hegemony found them first. The attack came without warning. Not from soldiers, but from beasts. War beasts. They looked like tigers, but bigger, faster, and smarter. They moved like shadows through the trees. "Run!" Captain Lee had shouted. But it was too late. Doyen closed his eyes, trying to forget the sounds, the screams of his friends, the wet tearing noises, the growls. He had tried to help, firing his rifle at one of the beasts. The bullets hit it, but it kept coming. Only a lucky fall down a steep hill had saved him. The beast had not followed. Maybe it thought he was dead, or maybe it had other targets. Now darkness was coming. The air was getting cold. Doyen knew he needed shelter, but his leg would not work. He pulled himself toward a fallen tree, using his arms to drag his body through the mud. Pain shot through his body with every move. "I will not die here," he whispered to himself. Not like this. He had a small medical kit. Enough to clean his wound and wrap it. Not enough to fix a broken leg. His water bottle was half full. He had 2 ration bars. His rifle had 3 bullets left. It would have to be enough. As night fell, the forest grew quiet, too quiet. Doyen felt it before he heard it. A presence. Something was watching him. He raised his rifle, hands shaking not from cold but from fear. Then he heard it. A low growl. The sound of something big moving through the bushes. Doyen looked through his rifle scope, scanning the darkness. That's when he saw it. The biggest war beast he had ever seen was moving toward him. Its orange and black fur was wet from the rain. Its eyes glowed in the darkness like small fires. On its neck was a metal collar with glowing blue lights. Hegemony markings. Subject K9 was written on the collar. This was not like the other beasts that had attacked his squad. This one was bigger. Its movements were careful, planned. It was not rushing in for the kill. It was stalking him. Doyen aimed his rifle. 3 bullets. He would need to make each one count. His finger touched the trigger. The beast was 30 steps away. Then 20. Then 10. Doyen was about to fire when the beast did something strange. It stopped. It tilted its head, looking at Doyen with what seemed like curiosity. Its eyes were not filled with rage but with something else. Something like confusion. Suddenly the beast's ears perked up. It turned its head sharply. Doyen heard it too. The sound of hegemony soldiers. They were coming this way. The beast looked back at Doyen, then at the direction of the soldiers. It seemed to be making a decision. Doyen held his breath. This was it. The beast would alert the soldiers, and he would be captured, or killed, or worse. Instead, the beast did the last thing Doyen expected. It moved closer to him, crouched low, and covered Doyen's body with its own. Its warm fur pressed against him as the hegemony patrol passed just meters away. The beast was hiding him. But why would a hegemony or beast protect a human soldier? It made no sense. As the patrol moved away, the beast looked down at Doyen. Their eyes met, and in that moment Doyen saw something impossible in the beast's eyes. He saw a soul. When the hegemony patrol was gone, the beast moved away from Doyen. It stood over him, its large head tilted to one side. Doyen still held his rifle, but he did not aim it. Something told him this beast would not hurt him. Rain kept falling. Doyen's leg throbbed with pain. He was getting cold, and cold meant death on this planet. The beast seemed to understand this. It made a soft sound in its throat, then gently pushed its head under Doyen's arm. "What are you doing?" Doyen asked, his voice weak. The beast pulled back, then did it again. This time, Doyen understood. It wanted him to hold on. Slowly, Doyen put his arm around the beast's thick neck. As soon as he did, the beast stood up, lifting Doyen off the ground. "Wait," Doyen said, but the beast was already moving. The trip was painful. Doyen's broken leg bumped against the beast's side. He bit his lip to keep from crying out. They traveled for what felt like hours, the beast moving carefully through the dark forest. Finally, they reached a small hill. The beast stopped in front of what looked like a pile of fallen trees. But when they got closer, Doyen saw it was an old bunker, mostly hidden by plants and dirt. The door was half open. The beast carried Doyen inside. It was dry in the bunker. There was dust everywhere, but no people. The beast set Doyen down on the floor, then went back outside. Doyen was too tired to wonder where it was going. His head felt hot. Fever was setting in. I'm going to die here, he thought. Then he fell asleep. When Doyen woke up, the beast was back. It had dragged a dead animal into the bunker. Doyen turned away, feeling sick. But then he saw something else. The beast had also brought water. It had torn open a large leaf which now held clean rainwater. You brought me water? Doyen could not believe it. The beast pushed the leaf toward him. Doyen drank, his hands shaking. The water was sweet and cold. It helped clear his head. He looked at the beast again, really seeing it for the first time. It was not just a beast. It was thinking, planning, helping. Days passed. Doyen grew stronger. His fever went down. The beast brought food and water every day. It hunted for him, never eating until Doyen had taken his share. Doyen used his medical kit to clean his leg, wound. It was bad, but not as bad as he had feared. The bone was cracked, not broken all the way through. One night, as they sat in the bunker, Doyen noticed something strange. The beast was in pain. It would sometimes shake its whole body, or snap at the air. Its eyes would flash red, then return to gold. It was Fee. Morning came with pale light through the bunker door. Doyen had not slept much. He spent the night watching the beast, thinking about what he needed to do. The beast had slept fitfully, sometimes twitching or growling as the implant sent signals to its brain. Now Doyen carefully moved closer to examine the device. The beast was awake but lay still, watching him with those golden eyes. The implant was smaller than Doyen had thought. A metal box about the size of his thumb was attached to the base of the beast's skull. Small lights blinked on its surface. Thin wires went from the box into the beast's skin. This is hegemony tech, Doyen said. They put these in all their war beasts. It makes you want to kill. The beast made a low sound. Doyen took that as agreement. I'm not a doctor, Doyen said. I only know basic field medicine, but I might be able to disable it. The beast lowered its head, giving Doyen better access to the implant. This simple act of trust made Doyen's throat tight with emotion. This creature was putting its life in his hands. Doyen opened his small med kit. He had a knife, some bandages, disinfectant spray, and 2 antibiotic injections. Not much, but it would have to do. He cleaned his hands with the disinfectant first. This will hurt, he warned. But you need to stay still. As if understanding, the beast dug its claws into the floor. It was bracing itself. Doyen took a deep breath and began. First, he felt around the implant. The skin was hot there, maybe infected. He used his knife to gently lift the edge of the metal box. The beast flinched but did not move away. Under the box, Doyen could see 3 wires going into the beast's flesh. They were colored red, blue, and green. He did not know which one did what. Cutting the wrong one might kill the beast, or turn it into a mindless killer. Think, he told himself. What would make sense? Red often meant power or activation. Blue might be for control. Green could be data. If he cut the red one, maybe the whole thing would shut down. That seemed safest. I'm going to try something, he told the beast. If you feel strange, let me know. Using the tip of his knife, Doyen carefully lifted the red wire. The beast growled, its body tensing. Doyen cut the wire with one quick motion. The effect was immediate. The beast roared in pain. Its eyes flashed red, staying that way longer than before. It stood up suddenly, knocking Doyen over. For a terrible moment, Doyen thought he had made it worse. The beast looked ready to attack, but then the red light in its eyes flickered, once, twice, and went out. The beast shook its head like it was trying to clear it. The lights on the implant were flashing wildly now. The other wires, Doyen realized. The system is trying to reset. He had to move fast. The beast was still standing, swaying slightly. Doyen forced himself up, ignoring the pain in his leg. He reached for the implant again. This time he cut the blue wire. The beast dropped to its knees. Its breathing came in fast gasps, but it did not attack. That was a good sign. One wire left. The green one. Doyen hesitated. What if this wire was keeping the beast alive? But leaving any part of the control system working seemed worse. Last one, he said. Then he cut the green wire. The lights on the implant died. The beast collapsed to the floor, its massive body completely still. For one horrible moment, Doyen thought he had killed it. He put his hand on its side. No breathing. No. No, Doyen whispered. Please don't die. Then, just as he was losing hope, the beast took a shuddering breath. Its eyes opened. They were clear gold now. No red at all. You're alive, Doyen said, relief washing over him. He used the disinfectant on the area around the implant, then gave the beast one of his precious antibiotic injections. The implant was still attached by small hooks in the skin, but it was no longer working. They could remove it completely when the beast was stronger. The beast tried to stand but could not. It was too weak. Doyen stroked its fur gently. Rest now, he said. The hard part is over. As the beast's eyes closed again, Doyen saw something that made his heart skip. A single tear had formed in the corner of the beast's eye. It rolled down, its face wetting the fur. The war beast was crying. For 2 days the beast barely moved. It lay on its side, breathing slowly. Doyen stayed close, checking the wound often. The area around the dead implant was red and hot. Infection was trying to set in. Doyen used his last antibiotic injection, hoping it would be enough. His own leg was getting better. He could put some weight on it now. This was good because he needed to find food and water for both of them. The beast was too weak to hunt. On. The third morning, Doyen woke to find the beast looking at him. Its eyes were clearer now. The wound looked better too. Less red, less swollen. You're getting stronger, Doyen said. The beast made a soft sound. Not a growl. Almost like a word. Doyen smiled. He had been talking to the beast for days now, not expecting it to understand. But maybe it did understand. At least a little. I need to take that thing off your head completely, Doyen said, pointing to the dead implant. The hooks are still in your skin. The beast lowered its head just like before. Doyen worked carefully, using his knife to remove the small hooks. Holding the implant in place, the beast did not make a sound, though Doyen knew it hurt. When the implant finally came free, Doyen held it up. Look at this thing. So small, but it made you kill. He threw it across the bunker. The beast watched it hit the wall, then looked back at Doyen with what seemed like gratitude. That night, as they shared the small animal Doyen had caught, he decided the beast needed a name. I can't keep calling you Beast in my head, he said. You need a name. The beast tilted its head, listening. How about Haru? It means one day in an old Earth language. One day we'll both be free of this war. The beast made that same soft sound again. Doyen took it as approval. Haru it is then. As days passed, both Doyen and Haru grew stronger. The wound on Haru's head healed, leaving a small bare patch in the fur. Doyen's leg improved enough for short walks outside the bunker. Haru stayed close to him, always watching for danger. One evening, as they sat outside the bunker watching the sunset, Doyen began to talk about Earth. He had never seen it himself. He had been born on a colony world, but his parents had told him stories. Earth has oceans so big you can't see the other side, he told Haru, and mountains that touch the clouds. There are cities where millions of people live together, and quiet forests where no one goes. Haru listened, eyes focused on Doyen's face. But the best thing about Earth, Doyen continued, is that people are free there. They choose their own path. No one tells them what to do or who to be. He looked at Haru. That's what we're fighting for. That's why the hegemony is wrong. They want to control everything. Everyone. Even you. Haru growled softly at the mention of the hegemony. But you broke free, Doyen said. You chose not to kill me. You chose to help me. That's what makes us human, not our bodies, Our choices. As he spoke, Doyen realized he was getting a fever again. His leg was hurting more today. Maybe he had pushed too hard on their walk. He tried to reach for his water bottle, but his hands were shaking. Haru noticed. The beast stood up and moved to Doyun's side. It pushed the water bottle toward him with its nose. Doyun tried to pick it up but dropped it. Water spilled on the ground. "Sorry," Doyun said, his voice weak. "I'm not feeling well." Haru looked at the spilled water, then at Doyun. Then the beast did something amazing. It picked up the bottle in its mouth, walked to the small stream nearby and filled it with fresh water. When it returned, it set the bottle down and used its paw to tip water into Doyun's mouth. Doyun was stunned. Haru was copying what Doyun had done for it when it was sick. The beast was not just learning words. It was learning care. That night, as Doyun's fever rose, Haru stayed by his side. The beast's warm body kept him from getting too cold. When he shivered, Haru moved closer. When he was too hot, Haru would bring wet leaves to cool his head. In his fever dreams, Doyun saw his squad, his friends who had died. They were asking why he was helping a war beast, the very kind that had killed them. "Because this one is different," Doyun told them in his dream. "This one has a soul." When morning came, Doyun's fever broke. He woke to find Haru watching him with worried eyes. The beast had not slept. It had guarded him all night. "Thank you," Doyun said, his voice hoarse. Haru made that soft sound again, but this time it was clearer, closer to a real word. It sounded like Haru was trying to say live. Doyun reached out and touched the beast's head. "Yes, we'll both live, and when we're strong enough, we'll find a way home." For the first time since they met, Doyun truly believed they might survive this. Together. Weeks passed in the small bunker. With each day, Doyun and Haru grew closer. Their bodies healed and something new grew between them. Trust became friendship. Friendship became a bond neither of them could explain. Doyun's leg was much better. Now, he could walk without pain, though he still limped a little. Haru was back to full strength, maybe even stronger than before. Without the implant forcing rage into its mind, the beast was calmer, more focused. One morning, Doyun found a long branch he could use as a walking stick. It helped, but was too short. Haru watched him struggle with it, then disappeared into the forest. When the beast returned, it had a longer, straighter branch in its mouth. "This is perfect," Doyun said, testing the new stick. "How did you know?" Haru made a sound that was becoming more like a word each day. It sounded like saw. The beast was trying to say it saw what Doyun needed. Doyun was amazed at how quickly Haru was learning. The beast now understood many words. It could follow complex instructions, and it was trying to speak. Not in full sentences, but in single words that meant so much. Together, they made the bunker more comfortable. Haru dragged in dry grass for bedding. Doyun used parts of his medkit container to make a small bowl for water. They worked as a team to survive. Haru was also teaching Doyun. The beast showed him which plants were safe to eat. It taught him how to move quietly through the forest, how to smell the air for danger, how to listen to the small sounds that meant safety or threat. One day, while they were outside, Haru suddenly froze. Its ears turned, listening. Its nose lifted, testing the air. Doyun had learned to trust these warnings. He went still too. Moment later, Haru pushed against Doyun's legs, urging him back toward the bunker. Doyun could hear it now too. The low hum of a hegemony scout ship. They made it inside just as the ship passed overhead. It was flying low, scanning the forest, looking for something. Or someone. "They might be looking for me," Doyun whispered. "Or for you." Haru growled softly at the sound of the ship. The beast knew the danger was real. That night, they made a plan. The bunker was not safe anymore. They needed to move deeper into the forest, away from areas the hegemony patrolled. Doyun remembered there was an old resistance outpost about 2 days' walk to the north. If it was still there, they might find supplies. Maybe even a working radio. They left at dawn. Haru carried most of their few belongings in a small pack Doyun had made from his torn jacket. They moved carefully, stopping often to check for patrols. When Doyen got tired, Haru would walk beside him, letting him lean on its strong back. By sunset, they had covered more ground than Doyen expected. They found a small cave to sleep in for the night. As darkness fell, the temperature dropped quickly. Doyen shivered in his thin uniform. Without being asked, Haru moved closer, sharing its body heat. The beast's warm fur was better than any blanket. Doyen felt safe for the first time in weeks. Looking up at the night sky, Doyen pointed to the stars. My home is out there somewhere, a planet called New Sol. It's small but beautiful. Haru followed his finger, looking at the stars. I wonder where you came from, Doyen said. Did they create you in a lab? Or were you born somewhere? Haru made a low sound. Sad, somehow. It doesn't matter now, Doyen told the beast. What matters is where we go next. Together. As they watched the stars, Doyen noticed something on Haru's face. A wetness around the eyes. He reached out and touched it. A tear. The beast was crying again, but not from pain this time. You understand, don't you? Doyen said softly. You understand what it means to be free, to choose your own path. Haru looked at him. In the beast's eyes, Doyen saw something he never expected to see in a war beast. He saw hope, and more than that, he saw love. This creature, made for killing, had learned to care. It had broken free not just from its implant, but from its purpose. It had chosen to protect instead of destroy, to heal instead of harm. Doyen put his arm around Haru's neck. We're going to make it, Haru, I promise. The beast made that sound again, the one that was almost a word. But this time, it was clearer. This time, Doyen understood it perfectly. Friend. Haru had said friend. Doyen felt his own eyes fill with tears. Yes, he said. Friends. Always. They fell asleep under the stars, human and beast. Soldier and war machine. Two enemies by design, now bound by something stronger than any programming. Something the hegemony had never planned for. Something human. Back on planet Seokju, Dr. Taeho Park stared at his screen with angry eyes. For weeks, he had been tracking Subject K9. The signal from its implant was weak but still worked enough to show it was alive. And it was not alone. It should have killed any humans it found, Dr. Park said to his assistant Mina. But the movement patterns show it staying with someone, the same someone for over 3 weeks now. Maybe the implant is broken, Mina suggested. No. Dr. Park shook his head. Something else is happening. Someone has tampered with my creation. He stood up and walked to the window of his lab. Outside, a transport ship was landing. He had called for a special team. Soldiers trained to recover war beasts that went off mission. They had the tools to find K9 and bring it back. Prepare my field kit, he told Mina. I'm going with them. But sir, it's dangerous. K9 is my greatest work. Dr. Park cut her off. Something is wrong with it. I need to see for myself what happened. On Taebaek, Doyen and Haru continued their journey north. The day was warm. They had been walking since dawn. Doyen's leg was holding up well, but he still needed rest breaks. They stopped by a small stream to drink and cool off. We should reach the outpost by tomorrow, Doyen said, looking at the mountains ahead. If it's still there. Haru was drinking from the stream when suddenly it lifted its head. Water dripped from its mouth as it listened. Its whole body went tense. What is it? Doyen asked, keeping his voice low. Haru looked up at the sky. Doyen followed its gaze but saw nothing. Then he heard it. A faint sound. Getting louder. Ships. Hide, Doyen said. They ran to a cluster of large rocks. Doyen squeezed into a narrow space between two boulders. Haru pressed in next to him, its large body barely fitting, just in time. 3 hegemony ships flew overhead, moving slow. They were search vessels designed to find people or things on the ground. One ship circled back, hovering directly above their hiding spot. They're scanning for something, Doyen whispered. For you, I think. Haru made a soft growl. Its eyes narrowed as it watched the ships. The ships moved on, heading north. Toward the old resistance outpost. Doyen's heart sank. They're going where we're going, he said. We need a new plan. They waited until the ships were out of sight, then left their hiding place. Doyen studied the mountains to the east. They were steep and dangerous, but would provide better cover. We'll go that way, he decided. It will be harder, but safer. The new route was difficult. They climbed rocky slopes, crossed narrow paths along cliff edges. By evening, they were high enough to see far across the forest below, and what they saw was not good. The hegemony ships had landed in a clearing. Soldiers were setting up a camp. They had search equipment and weapons. And something else that made Doyen's blood run cold. Cages. Large ones. Big enough for Haru. They're hunting for you, Doyen said. They must have tracked your implant somehow. Haru looked at the dead device still hanging around its neck. Doyen had disabled it, but maybe it still sent some kind of signal. He should have thrown it away completely. We need to get rid of this, Doyen said, reaching for the collar. But before he could remove it, Haru's head snapped up. The beast growled, a real warning this time. From around the curve of the mountain path came 4 hegemony soldiers, weapons raised. Don't move, one soldier ordered Doyen. Haru stepped in front of Doyen, its body low, ready to attack. The soldiers aimed their guns at the beast. Stand down, K9, another soldier said. Command override, Theta 96. Haru did not respond to the command. The soldier looked surprised. I said, stand down, beast, he repeated, louder this time. Haru growled, again its muscles tensing. Doyen put his hand on the beast's back. Don't, he whispered. There are too many. Behind the soldiers, a 5th person appeared. He was not dressed like a soldier. He wore a white coat, a scientist. When he saw Haru, his eyes widened. Subject, K9, the man said, his voice full of wonder. And look at it, protecting a human. Doyen knew this must be the man who created Haru, the man who put the implant in its head. What have you done to my creation? The scientist asked Doyen. I freed it, Doyen said. Haru isn't your weapon anymore. Haru? The scientist looked confused, then laughed. You named it? Like a pet? Not a pet, Doyen said. A friend. The scientist's face hardened. Step away from the beast. I am Dr. Park, creator of Project Predator. That beast belongs to the hegemony. No, Doyen said. Haru doesn't belong to anyone. Dr. Park sighed. I'm offering you a deal, soldier. Walk away. Now, and we'll let you live. The hegemony can be merciful. What will you do to Haru? Doyen asked, though he already knew the answer. Subject K9 will be reset. The implant will be replaced. And next time, we'll make sure it can't be tampered with. Doyen looked at Haru. The beast was watching him, waiting for his decision. In its eyes, Doyen saw something that broke his heart. Trust. Complete trust that Doyen would not abandon it. No deal, Doyen said to Weiss. 6 months passed. Doyen recovered at the resistance base. His body healed, but his heart did not. Every night he dreamed of Haru. Every day he asked for a mission back to Taebake Mountain. His commanders always said no. Too dangerous, they told him. Too many hegemony troops there now. But Doyen would not give up. He trained harder than anyone. He learned to fight better, to shoot better, to plan missions. Soon, he was leading small teams on raids. Each success made his commanders trust him more. Then one day a scout brought news that changed everything. The hegemony had a research base on planet Seokju. They were studying war beasts there. And one beast was special. One they kept separate from the others. One that would not obey commands. It must be Haru, Doyen told his commander. It survived the rock slide. The hegemony found it and took it back to Seokju. His commander, Captain Jin, looked doubtful. Even if this beast is your friend, we can't risk a mission to Seokju just to save one animal. Not just an animal, Doyen said. He pulled out Haru's collar, showing the mark the beast had made. Haru can think, can feel, can choose. If the hegemony learns how to make more like Haru, but under their control, we will lose this war. Captain Jin studied the collar for a long time. Finally, he nodded. I'll give you 1 ship, 6 soldiers. That's all I can spare. Doyen smiled for the first time in months. That's all I need. The plan was simple but dangerous. They would pose as a supply ship. Land at the research base, find Haru, destroy the research. Leave before anyone knew they were there. The easy part was getting in. Their ship had good fake codes. The hard part would be finding Haru in the huge base and getting out alive. Doyen led his team through the quiet halls. It was night shift. Few people were working. They found the main lab empty except for one woman, Mina, Dr. Park's assistant. She was surprised to see them but did not fight when they tied her up. Where is the special beast? Doyen asked her. The one that won't obey commands. Mina's eyes widened. You're the soldier, the one who took K9. His name is Haru, Doyen said. Where is he? Lower level, Mina said. Cell 12. Dr. Park keeps it separate from the others. He studies its brain every day, trying to understand how it broke free from the programming. Doyen left 2 soldiers to guard Mina and the lab. He and the others went to the lower level. They found Cell 12 at the end of a long hall. When Doyen looked through the small window in the door, his heart stopped. Haru was there, alive, but changed. The beast was thinner. Its fur was dull. Around its neck was a new metal collar, thicker than the old one. Haru lay on the floor, not moving. Stand back, one soldier said. He placed a small device on the door lock. It made a soft beep, and the door opened. Doyen stepped into the cell. Haru? The beast's eyes opened slowly. When it saw Doyen, it did not move at first. It just stared as if not believing what it saw. Then, slowly, it tried to stand. The new collar sparked, and Haru fell back down with a whine of pain. The collar is hurting it, Doyen said. He knelt beside Haru, looking for a way to remove the collar. It was locked tight, with no clear way to open it. We need to get this off, he told his team. Then we need to destroy all the research data and get out of here. One soldier came forward with a small cutting tool. This should work on the collar, but be careful, it might be booby-trapped. While they worked on freeing Haru, alarms suddenly blared through the base. Someone had found them out. Hurry, Doyen urged. The cutting tool finally broke through the collar. It fell away from Haru's neck. The beast shook its head, as if clearing a fog from its mind. Then it looked at Doyen, really looked at him, and its eyes filled with recognition. Doyen, Haru said, the word clear and perfect. Yes, Doyen said, tears in his eyes. It's me, I came back for you. How touching, a voice said from the doorway. Dr. Park stood there, guards behind him. His face was scarred from the rock slide, one eye now white and blind. I knew you would come eventually. Humans are so predictable in their attachments. Doyen and his team raised their weapons. The guards did the same. It was a standoff. You don't understand what you have here, Doyen told Dr. Park. Haru isn't just a war beast. He's something new, something that chose to be more than his programming. I understand perfectly, Dr. Park said. That's why I've been studying it. Imagine an army of beasts with K9's intelligence but loyal to the hegemony. We would be unstoppable. You'll never have that army, Doyen said, because we're leaving with Haru, and we're destroying your research. Dr. Park laughed. You won't. Make it 10 steps. But he had forgotten about Haru. The beast was free now, its mind clear. As Dr. Park spoke, Haru moved. Faster than anyone could follow, it leaped past Doyen and knocked Dr. Park to the ground. The guards fired, but Haru was already moving again, taking them down one by one. Now, Doyen shouted to his team. They threw small bombs into the lab, destroying the computers and samples. All of Dr. Park's research gone in seconds. With Haru fighting beside them, they fought their way back to their ship. Alarms wailed. Soldiers ran through the halls, but nothing could stop the team now. Not with a war beast leading the way. A war beast that fought not with blind rage, but with strategy, and purpose. They made it to the ship just as more guards arrived. As they lifted off, Haru stood by the window watching the base grow smaller below them. Doyun stood beside him. "You came back," Haru said, still looking out the window. "Of course I did," Doyun replied. "That's what friends do." Back at the Resistance, base people were afraid of Haru at first. A war beast walking freely among them seemed too dangerous. But Doyun called a meeting of the Resistance leaders. He brought Haru with him. "This is not just a beast," he told them. "Haru can think, can speak, can choose, and he chose to help us." To prove his point, Doyun asked Haru to speak. The beast stepped forward, looking at each leader in turn. "I was made to kill humans," Haru said, his voice deep but clear, each word carefully formed. "But one human showed me another way, showed me how to be more than what I was made to be. I want to help others like me, other war beasts, help them break free." The leaders were amazed. A beast that could talk, that could reason, that had broken free from hegemony control. It changed everything. In the days that followed, word spread through the Resistance. The story of the human soldier and the war beast who saved each other, who showed that freedom of choice was stronger than any programming. That friendship could bridge the gap between species. Other war beasts were captured and freed from their implants. Not all could speak like Haru, but many showed the same ability to choose, to learn, to care. A new force was born in the Resistance. Not human, not beast, but something in between, something the hegemony had never planned for. And leading them was Haru, the war beast that wept, the beast that learned to love, the beast that became more human than those who created it. "What happens when the war is over?" Doyun asked Haru one night, as they watched the stars together. Haru looked at him, golden eyes thoughtful. "We make a new home. For humans, for beasts, for all who choose freedom." Doyun smiled and put his arm around his friend's neck. "I like that plan." Together they had changed each other, changed the war, and perhaps in time they would change the galaxy itself. Not through force or control, but through something much stronger, through a bond that neither human nor beast had words for. A bond that began with mercy, grew with trust, and now could never be broken. A bond that had turned a weapon into a friend, and a friend into family,